Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about the consequences of the climate change. Global climate change has already had observable effects on the environment, like glaciers have shrunk, ice on rivers and lakes is breaking up earlier, plant and animal ranges have shifted, and the trees are flowering sooner. Scientists had predicted earlier in the past are now occurring. That is the loss of sea ice, accelerated sea level rise, and the longer and more intense heat waves. Scientists have high confidence that global temperature will continue to rise for the decades to come, largely due to the greenhouse gases produced by the human activities. The Intergovernmental Panel of the Climate Change, that is the IPCC, which includes more than 1,300 scientists from United States and other countries, forecast a temperature rise of 1 to 5 degrees Celsius over the next century. According to the IPCC, the extent of climate change effects on individual regions will vary over time and with the ability of differential societal and environmental system to mitigate or adapt to change. The IPCC predicts that increases in global mean temperature of less than 1 to 3 degrees Celsius above 1990 levels will produce beneficial impacts in some regions and the harmful ones in the other. The net annual cost will increase over time as global temperature increases. And now I will tell you about some of the long-term effects of global climate change in the United States according to the third National Climate Assessment Report. Change will continue through this century and beyond. Global climate is projected to continue to change over this century and beyond it. The magnitude of climate change beyond the next few decades depends primarily on the amount of heat-trapping gases emitted globally and how sensitive the Earth's climate is to those emissions. Sea level rise is caused primarily by two factors related to the global warming, that is the added water from melting ice and the expansion of seawater as it warms. The given chart tracks the change in sea level since 1993 as observed by satellites. There you will find an increase of 3.4 millimeters per year of the sea height. Chart derived from the coastal tide gauge data shows that how much sea level changed from 1870 to 2000. The another factor is changes in the precipitation pattern. Average US precipitation has increased since 1900, but some areas have had increases greater than the national average and some areas have had decreases. More winter and spring precipitation is projected for the northern United States and less for the southwest over this century. Projections of future climate over the US suggest that the recent trend towards increased heavy precipitation events will continue. This trend is projected to occur even in regions where total precipitation is expected to decrease, such as the southwest.
Second point regarding the future effects of climate change. Temperatures will continue to rise as human-induced warming is superimposed on a naturally varying climate. The temperature rise has not been and will not be uniform or smooth across the country. A video will be followed where the visualizations show projections of temperature anomalies from 2000 to 2100. Third point regarding the future effects of climate change. Droughts in the southwest and heat waves everywhere are projected to become more intense and cold wave less intense everywhere. Summer temperature are projected to continue rising and the reduction of soil moisture, which increases the heat waves. By the end of this century, what has been once in a 20-year extreme heat day are projected to occur every 2 or 3 years over most of the US. Important point being the mega droughts in the US West projected to be worst of the millennium. Droughts in the southwest of the central plains of the US in the second half of the 21st century could be drier and longer than anything humans have ever seen in the last 1000 years, according to a NASA study published in Science Advances on February 12, 2015. Here is the visualization of the pattern shown in the video which will be followed, where the brown color indicates lower soil moisture region, and the blue indicates the higher soil moisture regions. Regarding the future effects of climate change, Arctic's likely to become more ice-free. The Arctic Ocean is expected to become essentially ice-free in summer before mid-century. Arctic sea reaches its minimum each September. Arctic's ice is now declining at a rate of 13.3% per decade, relative to the 1981 to 2010 average. The graph, which will be followed now, shows the average monthly Arctic sea ice extent in September since 1979, derived from satellite observations.
Fifth point regarding the future effects of the climate change. Hurricanes will become stronger and more intense. The intensity, frequency and duration of North Atlantic hurricanes as well as the frequency of strongest hurricanes have all increased since early 1980s. The relative contributions of the human and natural causes to these increases are still uncertain. Hurricanes associated storm intensity and rainfall rates are projected to increase as the climate continues to warm. The next point regarding the future effects of the climate change. Sea level will rise by 1 to 4 feet by 2100. From the data collected since 1880, global sea level has risen by 8 inches. It has been projected to rise another 1 to 4 feet by 2100. This is a result of added water from melting land ice and the expansion of seawater as it warms. In next several decades, storm surges and high tides could combine with sea level rise and land subsidence to further increase flooding in many of these regions. Sea level will not stop rising in 2100 because the oceans take very long time to respond to warmer conditions at the Earth's surface. Ocean waters will therefore continue to warm and sea level will not continue to rise for many centuries at equal rates to or higher than that of the current century. Another important point regarding the future effects of the climate change. Frost-free season will lengthen. The length of the frost-free season has been increasing nationally since 1980s and the largest increase happened in United States, affecting ecosystems and agriculture. Across the United States, the growing season is projected to continue to lengthen. In future, in which heat trapping gas emissions continue to grow, increases of a month or more in lengths of the frost-free and growing seasons are projected across the most of the US by the end of the century and will slightly smaller increases in the northern Great Plains. The largest increases in the frost-free season are projected for the western US, particularly in high elevated and coastal areas. The increases will be considerably small if heat trapping gases emissions are reduced.